with Junk to Jewels. Let me take those off. We're doing a little woodworking here in the shop today, and I'm going to show you how to make a tiered tray. They are like such a huge trend right now. So I'm going to show you how to make one. Now, whether you're handy in the wood shop or not, I think you're going to be able to make this because I've got some good tips for you. So let's get right into it. I'm also going to introduce my camera gal today. If you hear Kara back there, she is filming for us.
Hello, hello,
So say
hello.
hey. I own Junk to Jewels, and Kara helps me out all the time. Here, this is like not the right piece. Okay. Kara helps me out all the time with different projects. She's much more handy with the tools than I am, but we're gonna make this tiered tray together, and she's gonna help me video today. And then if you're watching live on the premiere, I'm in the comments right now. We're pre-filming because there is a lot of steps. We're gonna work her a little bit out here. And then we're gonna go into the craft room and like paint it, put it together. It's gonna be a cool project. And I think much more affordable than some of the options I've seen in stores and stuff. Retailers, they can go for big bucks, right, Kara?
Yes.
Okay, so here's what I got. I have a 1x12 board that we cut to 16 inches, and then I cut 1x2 strips to kind of frame out the piece. So you see these 1x2 furring strips is what you wanna look at if you're in the stores. And your local Home Depot or Lowe's or whatever store you may have, lumber store, is that what they're called?
Yep.
Hardware, will cut your boards to size. So if that's not something that you feel comfortable with, you can make your cut list ahead of time and go in there and they will chop down your one stick of furring strips and then like your 1x12 board to this. But this is gonna make a nice sturdy tiered tray. I'm arranging those around the border. If you can kind of see that, that's gonna create a little lip to our tray. And then I have a pneumatic nail gun, brad nailer, that type of thing. I have big old staples in there. What's the length on these, Kara?
18 gauge.
Big.
I believe they are 1 1/4. I want to say 1 1/4, but they
Yeah,
might be 2.
they are long enough to go through the trim into the wood. So that's my fancy way of measuring there. They're gonna catch both and hold it securely together. You can always reinforce with some wood glue too and clamp it, but there we go. Okay, so we're gonna start nailing this together. Let me just get the one board here. So you wanna press that together. And is it easier if I pull it back out on the edge, or you think I'm good? I'm good?
You should be okay.
Okay.
Down.
Down. She's like, don't get yourself. Make sure your fingers are out of the way. That's the big point, right?
Yes.
So we're gonna put a few along this edge. I'm gonna do both ends and then kind of come back with 2 or 3 of them. Sound good? Okay, so we've got that on there nice and sturdy. We're just gonna keep going around. Okay, again, I got one nail on that end, one in here, a few in the middle. Okay, so if you're intimidated by power tools, what I will say is a orbital sander and these brad nailers are really easy to use. Like, I would consider like them, I'm pretty comfortable using both those. So the brad nailer and an orbital sander, if you're looking to get into tools and like how to use them, those are a good place to start, right? I think I'm gonna sand first just to make sure it's nice and flush because I don't want any gaps. Does that make sense? So see, kind of have a little bit of a gap right here. I'm gonna just sand to make sure that overhang is nice and smooth. So I've got my orbital sander, 80 grit, 120 grit.
I think that one's 80.
80 grit, so that's a little bit heavier duty. The sandpaper is different. Like the smaller the number, the heavier the pad is, like the more tough the pad is. The bigger the number, the finer grit it is, and this more like fine sanding, finish sanding you'll get. So I'm gonna go ahead and do my sanding. Okay, got most of those rough edges put off, and then we can get our long sides put on our tray. Okay, so I got side 4 is going on now. So I'm just putting it on there, nailing that together. I'm trying really hard to leave the nail gun flush, so it just goes directly into the wood nice and straight. But honestly, for me, one poking out is not that bad, right? So we've got one. It could be a sign, but it's gonna be the base for what we have today. The other thing you're gonna need is a table leg. So I think this is a 14-inch. I have the tag right here. What does it say? 14-inch traditional table leg is what you wanna pick up. And we sliced ours. So put it in that saw that you saw at the beginning and chopped it off to make a space for our another level, right? So if you were gonna do another level after that, you might wanna get taller than a 14-inch tiered tray, but you basically decide how many inches you want between your layers, cut it, chop up your little table leg, and one's gonna be below or in between each layer. All right, so I've got to put the trim on the second layer. We're just gonna do 2 tiers today to this tray. But you're gonna have to let me know if you already have a tiered tray, if you've been wanting a tiered tray. Comment and let me know, because I am in the comments live for the premiere and chatting right along with you, answering any questions you have about this build. What do you think, Kara? Do you have any questions? Am I leaving out anything, camera?
No,
gal?
I think it's going good.
Okay. I will say I plan to, with the holidays right around the corner, use this for a Christmas display. So when we go inside and paint it all up, hopefully I'll have some time to show you how I plan to style it for the holidays. I think this is the perfect thing to style for the holidays. I've even done one before for my mom for Mother's Day, and then I went ahead and styled it like with presents for her. So she got the tiered tray and it was all styled up, and she loves to pull it out. So that was like a couple years ago, and she loves to style it. So I'll hopefully take the intimidation out of using the tools and styling your tray. Not hard. Okay, I'm gonna put this edge on, and then I'm gonna do some sanding. I got a little overhang on that edge, but I can fix that up with some sanding. Okay, let's go in with our sander. All right, we've got our second tray all built and ready to assemble. So we're gonna put on the table leg that's gonna put together our piece, right? So we've cut it to the height that we want in between. One thing I will say before we go any further, depending on how rustic or how like clean, modern you like your stuff to look, you can take the time to fill these nail holes that were made by the brad nailer, the staples, but you also don't have to. I like shabby, rustic, farmhouse style, so that's what we're gonna go with today, and you'll see once you paint it, you're not gonna really notice. But anyway, I just wanted to give that option to you that like a little smoother finish. So I'm gonna take the smaller tray, which is in this case my top tier of the tray, and I need to attach this to the bottom, right? So we're gonna attach here, and then I'm gonna put it on here and attach. So I do need to kind of measure for the center. I'm a pretty good eyeballer, so I'm gonna put it on here, and I think I'm gonna be pretty close. Let's see. About 5 3/4 from that side. About 6 inches from that side. Oh, it's pretty close. Smidge one way. Very technical. A smidge. Smidge. 4 1/2. 4 1/2. We're pretty darn good here. Okay, now if you're using wood glue and you can glue it and let it set up overnight, it is a lot easier to do this step, right, Kara?
Yes.
Because now I've got to hold it kind of in place while I'm nailing, which is a little challenging, but we got this. We got this. Okay? I'm like holding it and hold the tool and my hands out of the way. Okay. And make sure it's all. Okay, so we're gonna put 2 or 3 nails right in the middle there. Once you got one on there, you're pretty good. Okay, now it's gonna hold. So wood glue set up overnight would be a really way to get it already set so it's attached to your board. Now we got it on our top. We got like a tray on a stick here. Now we're gonna do the same thing with our bottom piece, and we do want to make sure it is nice and centered, like we talked about. And
I need to go that way, I think.
oh, Kara's already calling it. Yeah, we're like 7 1/4. Oh yeah, we're way off. Look it. She's like, yep, I could see it. Okay, hang on. Need to be at about 6 3/4 with my wood here. 4 1/4. Oh, my eyeball wasn't nearly as good on this tray.
You got double stacks working.
Okay. So once you've lined that up, then you can nail from the bottom of the tray. So again, hard to hold on to unless you're going to nail and let it dry with the glue. Here's videoing. She's like, how do I?
I'm trying to follow her.
I'd like to know, ladies, that was like the last nail, I think. It kind of did some funny things. If you are into power tools, like I think ladies are intimidated by power tools a lot of times, but it's not my favorite thing, but I can do it. I can do it. Okay. I think we're pretty good. I could reinforce a little, but basically this is the bones of our tiered tray. Again, remember that you can go into your local hardware store if you don't have the tools or you're not comfortable doing it or don't have a husband who wants to do it for you. You can go into the local lumber hardware store and they will chop up those boards for you. You're looking for 1x10 pine, 1x12 pine if you're building one like ours, and then those 1x2 furring strips. But we're gonna head on into the craft room and we're gonna paint this, put some finishing things on it that are gonna make it look super high end, and I think you're gonna love it. Hey guys, it's Katie. We're inside the workshop now. If you're just joining us, we've built the basics, the base of our wood tiered tray. Kara's my camera gal. We're from Junk to Jewels, so we do a lot of DIY. I'm also a handmade business strategist where I help other creatives build their handmade businesses and grow those. So I'm gonna put on my apron and we're gonna get to putting this, like embellishing it and sending it over the top, right? Okay, I'm gonna take this off. I've got some other little parts and pieces that I wanna tell you about. Again, like you could just paint it as is and that would be just fine, but I really wanted to achieve like a high-end look on ours. So I think I have some good ideas that I haven't seen before. So this is the other part of our table leg and we're gonna glue that on top. I just have some of this super glue. I like the gel kind and it usually grabs like in like 15 seconds or less. So once you open it, it's pretty much like you gotta use it. I mean, okay, now I have to pop it with the cap usually, right? Well, not this time.
I think you just screwed the whole thing on.
Just screw it on, huh?
I believe so.
But once you start going with this, it is basically like started. You've unleashed the beast here and the glue comes out. You can't really, it gets like clogged, you know? So a little bit goes a long way. So I did a swirl there and then I'm gonna stick that on there and hold it. Hopefully it's lined up with my other. So we'll hold that for a few seconds. My glue's just fountaining everywhere. Okay, so I've got that little piece on there. I'm gonna let that dry before I put that on there. So the other thought I had was I have these, I don't even know what they're called. I ordered them online. They're like
half circles.
Half circles, like 1 inch
beads
half wood beads. I would look for something like that. But you're gonna put a little bit of glue on those. And I could use hot glue for today's purposes, like to instant hold it. We'll see. We'll see. Press it in place a few seconds. And once we paint this, this is gonna look so good. All the details on this are gonna look like they go together, like they're all part of one thing. I'm super excited about it. That one's holding?
Yep.
No, you have to tell me if it's straight or not. Up, down, good. You just assist me over there, camera gal. Okay.
Get my messy fingers in here.
Thank you. But yeah, these half wood beads look like a really decorative, expensive, like wood trim. Just adds an unexpected.
Kind of like on furniture, like the tack,
yes.
the furniture tack look to it.
Yeah, like if you've seen a table with like a trim that's detailed or something. You may even be able to at Lowe's like buy a piece of decorative trim, like I've seen braided rope trim or something like that. That would work, and then you would just have to cut it and nail it or cut it and glue it to add some little extra to your tray. But I thought these wood bead pieces would be really cute. At the same time, I'm going to glue on top of this, the top of the center tray, put a little glue on there because we have a little piece that we picked out. This is another like wood turning. It would be fine just like that, but I thought this was so like an extra detail that was so pretty. Almost looks like a chess piece. Mm-hmm. But if you search wood like finials, you will find all sorts of little pieces like that. And so that one's probably about 3 inches tall. You could also use like knobs, like for dresser pools and stuff like that. Hobby Lobby, it seems like every week they're like, every other week they're probably half off. And you could get a cute little knob to put on top of your tray. That would be a nice little touch. And that would also, like, whatever style you like would really accentuate that. Yeah. So, just kind of plugging along here. The other thing that's been really on trend, this is probably like the 3rd year, is really that buffalo check.
In lots of different versions.
Yes, I would say it was really like that lumberjack look in the beginning, like red with black, which Kara loves red, so that's probably her favorite. But the black and white, but just different colors, hunter green.
I love the hunter green.
So I'm going to use some accents of buffalo check on here. But so I'm keeping my tray pretty neutral, and then I'm going to be able to incorporate some gnomes, a little bit of greenery. One tip because we're waiting for this to dry, on these tiered trays is I like to use greenery as the filler. So I take like a little wreath. So you're gonna wanna look for like a candle ring or a 12-inch wreath, and I just put that on the top of my tray, and that is instant greenery and filler for like ornaments, and then you could put a cute Christmas mug or a little gnome by it, and you've pretty much filled one tray of your tiered tray. Okay, so I think those are pretty good. We can put feet on it if you want as well. These are, oh, sorry. These are candle cup holders. So you can find those at your local craft store. You'll need 4 of those. If you want to put little feet under your tray, you can do that, okay? So you could put 4 all the way around, and that kind of elevates it. Again, another little detail you can do. But let's do a little bit of painting on here so I can talk about how to paint it, kind of what to do. I'm using the Waverly chalk paint today. Do you want to show that? What's the color? Plaster?
White.
White. White. They have a color white. I thought it was called plaster, but white. That's what we got. So you're just gonna start painting inside, outside, tops, bottoms. I'm using an inexpensive chip brush. I like those, especially again for like kind of that rustic feel. You don't need to have perfect even coverage, and they're honestly so inexpensive that you can chop them after a time or two. Now we use ours to death. Kara even gives them haircuts sometimes.
Yeah.
If they dry out on the end, she'll just chip off and cut them with scissors and you know, keep it another use or two. But
they're really great if you want something to look old and rustic, because then it gives it more of like that.
Yeah,
layer,
like you get the brush
aged,
strokes.
yeah.
You know, definitely like when you're painting furniture and stuff or a nicer piece. Not what I'd recommend using.
No.
But for a project like this, it would be good. Okay, look at my beads. Oh, they're cute. You didn't tell me how cute it was up there. Okay, hang on. I'm gonna move this a little. And you just want to make sure you get all the paint all in those. Now you could, instead of painting, you could stain the tray. You could stain the tray and then paint over it. That would look really cute, like a layered, chippy look. That would play off the details that you're adding. But I would recommend probably, like if you're doing the white tray, kind of 1.5 coats. So I put on this first coat, kind of try to cover everything, and then once this dries, you'll be able to see where you might need to put a second coat. Does that make sense? I feel like I want to tell you, if you're not good at painting or you feel like you're not good at painting, I'm flinging paint on Kara. This should encourage you that you can do it. It's just really quickly, not a whole lot of skill to this project. Just make sure you get paint on there. Thin is always better. Thin paint layers. So when I say thin, I mean so like your paint can't run or drip. So even though there's a lot of strokes on these, I don't have drips. I don't think I do right now.
I don't see any.
Okay. No drips. You don't want your paint to like move or run. And you want to try to paint the direction of the wood grain. So up here, if you can paint the direction of the wood grain, it's a little bit weird because I got the middle piece here, but try to paint the direction of the wood grain, and then the paint will just sit down in there a little bit nicer for you. This would be a really awesome gift if you're already have a tiered tray, or you know, make one for you and a friend since you're doing it, and you probably will have the wood. Get together with a friend. Me and Karen love to craft together, so
it'd be a really nice housewarming present too. Like make
my
it and then
goodness.
fill it with like little teas or some coffee mugs.
Yes.
Welcome to your new home.
These are super like for coffee bar areas, or if you do like a hot cocoa bar for the holidays,
That'd
like
be so
cold winter
fun.
ones. Putting all your, you know, K-cups and peppermints, and just really cute. So,
or someone hosting a Christmas party, like that'd be a nice thank you gift for the host or whatever.
Yes.
You know.
Okay, so now what I would say, I want to let it really dry. Well, and then I'll put another half coat on it, reinforce our top here. I'll probably add the bottom feet, and we'll share a finished picture. So you want to seal this. So if you're just using it in your home decor and you don't plan to put food on it, you can use whatever sealer, like a clear wax, or like a polyacrylic. I don't recommend polyurethane on anything white because it'll get yellow over time, but you can definitely seal it. A lot of those aren't food safe, so if you plan to use it for food or put like food directly on it, you're probably gonna have to like do a little research on what kind of sealers are food safe, but that's my only caveat for you. But I think you're pretty good to go. Hey, we are back. The paint is dry. We got all of our wood half bead, half ball trim on this tray. We're ready to style it up. So I'm going to share some really great tips with you. You may not have the same things, but hopefully will inspire you to shop your house or be looking at your local stores or Dollar Trees, that type of thing, to get the materials to style up a tray for the holidays, okay? So first thing we're gonna talk about is greenery. And I've kind of got my table buried with all the goodness here. So I'm gonna just grab a wreath. So that's about the size of your top tray. That's a great way to just fill and start a base for your tray. Plop that wreath right there. And now this would be a super tip if you made your tray like so it could come apart, like screwed on or off. You could pull it off and put the tray down, another wreath on the bottom layer of the tray. So that would work as well. So I'm just gonna put some other greenery up here. We're gonna just fill in the greenery in some different spaces of our tray. So some on the bottom layer and some here on the top. Let me maybe like this. I'm using a lot of frosted berries and I'm trying to keep my color scheme in black and white, green and red. So you can use whatever color scheme that you have. Again, I have like just some different berries, picks, frosty stuff I can use, a little tiny tree. So collect those, collect some picks while you're out or use what you got. And then I have things that I'm gonna use on the tray. I'm gonna use a lot of the buffalo check that we talked about was a trim. So that sticks with the black and white theme that I like and works in some of that buffalo check that's the trim. So I added a little ribbon onto this tray I found at Dollar General, not a tray, a coffee mug that I found at the Dollar General. So I'm gonna put that on the edge of my tray. All right, and I've got a little gnome that also has the buffalo check and a little bit of red touch to him. So we're gonna use that on the bottom of the tray. And then I have a house that, this was a sign like for Halloween or something that I like hot glued on the fabric in this little wreath. So it's instant Christmas, instantly goes with my decor. So make over some things you have if that's what you got in your house, okay? So I'm gonna just stick this along the back side, I think. So hopefully it looks cute on your end. Give me some hearts and love if you're seeing the vision come together here, y'all. We're gonna make this little tray hold lots of cute things. Sometimes it's a matter of working with your pieces so they stay. This is the first time I've worked with our brand new tray, so I'm learning it too. So I have these little boots that I've used for summer decorations with lemons in them. So it goes super for summer, and now I'm gonna use it for Christmas. They kind of look like Santa boots. So those are gonna go on the back side of the tray. So if it's a tray where people are gonna be seeing, you know, the front and back, the full vision of your tray, make sure that, you know, you have some things facing both ways. So that looks cute. All right, so I'm gonna put, let's put a little greenery in these boots, so that gives it some height to the tray. I always like to add some height. And then we'll do some, maybe in the mug. How about this little tree in the little mug? Adorable, right? And we can even add some little berries in there, maybe if they'll fit. Okay, so that's looking pretty cute. The other thing I always like to look for is vintage things. And if you like vintage, anything looks better in a collection. So my current mission is to find like little vintage Santa mugs for the holidays. But I also like to collect numbers. So these acrylic numbers, I glued them together. It's a 2 and a 5 are gonna look perfect on the top of the tray there. But you can look for 1s and 4s for Valentine's, 3s and 1s for Halloween, that type of thing. So those are cute to just put around in different areas, vignettes in your home for the different seasons. A little outside the box, you can find flashcards, paper, that kind of stuff. I also love little risers, anything to add height. So you can use corbels, or this is a little dollar piece, a little dollar riser from the Target Bullseye, Target Dollar Spot, as well as like this little sign, and he'll look cute on that tray. So now I've got a few little wood elements, and I was gonna work those in with some ornaments. So ornaments are also great for the tiered trays. I have these little snowflake wood ones. I was gonna drop one kind of in here. I'm gonna work on the side here maybe, so you guys can see everything. So we're gonna work that in there. So it has a little bit of that wood accent, still have my 25. And then I think we'll put one down here. So those look cute. And then I have a little round metal piece that I can sneak on here. This one, I'm not sure it's gonna stand on its own. So let's, these little figurine houses are great. These are a little modern one, but you could also, if you have an old village that you want to update, spray it all white, spray it all black. That would be really cute. So it's going to hold up my little round sign, and then it's going to be something cute that you can see on this side. So I like that. My little gnome, I think, should go in the middle here. Looking cute. I have a little ornament. Let's see. Gotta come around here and look at it from your side. Oh, we're looking pretty cute. Okay. So I like that. Maybe a little ornament right there. Old vintage, like light bulbs, like glass light bulbs would be really cute. Pine cones that you can just pick up outside work. I have this little truck, anything, like the red truck is so popular. Any sort of like, what are those old vehicles, you know? Those type of things, campers. So we can stick that right there. But that's looking nice and full. And we're repeating the element of the buffalo check like in 3 places, which I kind of like. And we got a lot of the frosty greens and signs. And then my finishing touch, I really think on this is going to be this wood bead garland. You can make them yourself. There's lots of great DIY projects that you can do on these trays. But I like to make it look like it's kind of overflowing. So my greenery, I don't keep contained within the tray. I just kind of have it expanding beyond the boundaries. And the same thing with this wood bead garland. I'm going to have it kind of overlaying that edge, kind of sneakily put it over to the other side. This one's really long. I can even go up to the top ledge and string some up there. But I like the ideas of the beads hanging down. It adds another texture and fun element. You can also add some really cute fairy lights to this tray. If you like a little twinkle, I feel that makes the season even look more magical in your home. It's whatever you like. So I'm just kind of looping that all around. But how does that look? I think it's super cute, and hopefully you can find some similar items, or this is a jumping off point for you to look for the kind of patterns and colors and picks and little mini signs that you may need to put your tray together. But it doesn't have to take a lot to put together a really cute piece for your home, whether you're using it as a centerpiece or an accent piece maybe somewhere in your house. All right, well, thanks for joining us. We'll see you again soon.